Welcome back, everyone, to Enter the Unfamiliar Live. It's episode 42. It's been a couple weeks, so I'm so happy to be back. And welcome, everyone. I missed you guys. I would like to say we have a lot to talk about, but it's much ado about nothing, it seems, from this UFO report. So we're going to get into that tonight and talk about it. It's, 9 pages minus the cover letter and the appendix. And it's about 6 pages of actual information. So it's kind of lackluster, but I wasn't expecting very much. We did not find the answers to Roswell, of course. That this report was just from 2004 to 2000, this year. So with most of it happening in the last couple years. So, there's nothing about the history of UFO reporting or lack of thereof over the last several decades. It's not, we didn't get any of that. It's, well, anyway, I'm going to invite Drew, Supreme Heretic, on as my guest. Flip is not going to be able to join tonight. It is his daughter's birthday, so wish his daughter a very happy birthday. He's with the family. They were playing some badminton on the backyard, which looked like a lot of fun. So wishes his family all the best and happy birthday to his daughter. He'll be back next week. So let me bring out my guest this week again. We have Supreme Heretic. Hello, Drew.
Howdy, folks. Great to see everyone. And I already see a lot of familiar faces in the chat, so that's awesome. My boy Cavatinho's in there, Soul Assassin, RR. See all of our good friends. I know Steven's in here lurking around. Game Bet. We just have an awesome turnout to begin. Abandon. Great to see you. Yeah. Listen. We expected a lot more. I think, or maybe
I don't know. Did we though?
We let ourselves get excited.
I think, that's.
And
we hoped for a lot more. Let's see if my camera doesn't freeze up too much. Yeah, we hoped for a lot more.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think because it feels like collectively, whether you're a believer, whether you're a skeptic, those that want to get answers, those that have always been advocating, kind of pushing for disclosure, we got nothing. More of the same from the government, just maybe feigning ignorance, things of that nature. But here's the thing, and it's one thing that they admitted in the report, the only real interesting thing that we got, and that is 113 out of 114 incidents.
Yeah.
They could not identify what the particular object in question was.
Was that 104? I think it was 143.
Or 100, Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. 143, 144. But they could not uh, identify what the particular object was in
Mm-hmm.
question, and it goes under the phenomenon of unexplained UAP, and it's hail master of the TDS, great to see you, buddy. It's interesting to me again how publicly they could say that, but they have to be kind of you know because of the national security issue, and it's a very relevant national security issue because many of these things
Right. Which
have
they do mention that, at least in the report, that these
yeah,
things are a danger. They do
right.
pose a threat.
They are hanging around critical infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
definitely hanging around critical, command and control military facilities. Uh, in many cases, controllers of nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So that is a serious national security concern, and it just you know seems to me like there is still a lot being held back. It was disappointing because I think, they tried to pin the government down to kind of at least shed some light on it, and the government managed to find such a way as to again evade the
As
question.
it so often does.
Mm-hmm. Soul Assassin says they could turn off our nukes and turn them back on. That's alarming.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a very well documented sighting, very well documented report, and they still don't know how it was done. And mind you, I think that was back. What the incident that he's referencing was back. What wasn't it in the late '60s?
Yeah, 60s or 70s, I think,
Yeah.
where it was like hovering over the base, and it flipped them all on, and it was
Mm-hmm.
getting them ready to launch. Actually, like it went through the launch sequence, and
Mm-hmm.
then opened the door. The missile bay doors were open, and then it closed them all and turned it off at like right before it launched it. I mean, it was like messing with
Mm-hmm.
us, saying like we know how to do this, and we can do it whenever we want.
Yeah. I I honestly I'm puzzled by I guess the lack of urgency, at least with the report, but at the same time I get it. A, they don't want to tell the public, and B, again, it's a situation where maybe they're trying to avoid a public panic. But again, I'm skeptical of anything the government does,
Yeah.
as you folks well know, me being the independent journalist, asking questions, chasing around the truth. The way that I am about politics. I don't trust the government. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to wonder, and it goes back to a little bit of that discussion we were having a week or so ago, Vinyl, when we were discussing if there's a misdirection play in order, if they're going to use, if they're cooking up a whole lot of, a big. If this is going to be used as another false flag, because think about
Yeah.
it, the population could be very controlled when you're put in a state of fear because you think you're being invaded by something not of this world.
Right.
So it's just another instance where convenient excuse to lock down a populace. You never know.
Yeah, that's I think RR made that point too, up above in the comments. Let's see if I can find it here. That it seems like they're kind of maybe just getting, testing the waters, the temperature of the waters, to see how the public's going to react. Because it's not even really testing it so much because it's so little to begin with
Mm-hmm.
that they're not really, all they're doing is basically admitting that yes, there are cases of things that they have observed over the last couple of years that they can't explain, and that's about as much as we've got. I have it here, so I'll pull it up and we can go through it, page by page. It's not that long, so it's not going to take that long to go through. But there are a couple interesting things that are mentioned, but it's nothing. Here it is. Here's
hail. Hail to another monster. Great to see you.
Hail another monster. I'm sure I probably know what that comment says before I even get to it.
Solus Acid made the point as well. A quick way to unite the world is with the alien invasion.
Well, that's what Reagan said at the UN meeting.
I read his comment really quick. It just for a second it looked like it said a quick way to unite the world is with Allen Iverson, and I'm just thinking practice.
Allen Iverson, AI.
We talking about practice.
Yeah, practice. Alan Iverson. That's a different kind of AI.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So RR says it looks like testing the waters to see which psyop they want to run with, either the War of the Worlds or Space Jesus. This disclosure appears to be more of a test of the public's reaction, temperature check. And that's kind of what we're saying. Yeah. I mean it seems like maybe, but even at that, it's so it's so thin. Like the report is just thin. Here, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up so we can kind of go through it, break it down a little bit here. I'm gonna take my camera off because it always freezes up when I share things.
Yeah, I'll kill mine too.
Screen.
We'll put up Starbuck. There we go.
There you go. Okay, so this is it here. Okay, this is it. Read the Pentagon. And I'll put the link here in the chat too, so you guys can, if you want to read it for yourself. You can also download it. It's off this website. There's a link that you can go to and download it. But this is where I got from. This is theverge.com. They have it embedded, but it's also clicked. There's a link that you can download. So, okay, so pretty much the. Wait, let me just catch up with the chat here.
One of the most.
That's what I was waiting for there. Yeah. Nephilim, and more Nephilim. There you go.
Right.
There's your because I know I canceled a couple. Well, I didn't cancel a show. We just didn't have a show because of Father's Day, and then the week before something came up with the scheduling. So I know I owe you a couple. So there you go. There's a start you off there, another monster. Oh, he's driving home. Oh my goodness. Well, then you can't do your normal game. Please don't. Keep track of how much I owe. Okay, I'm sure RR will keep a tally for you. Just Tiss. Welcome, Just Tiss. I missed the days when Billy Graham was the official pastor for the presidents and everything was confidential. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Good old Billy.
Billy Graham was pretty great, man. It sucks that it sucked when he passed away, because he was a believer in more of the traditional Christianity, and he's missed from at least from a person who is a believer's perspective, I will say.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And his son now is I don't know. I don't want to talk ill of him, but he's I don't want to get into the whole thing.
He's certainly not Pops.
No, he's not. He's pushing the jab, and I'm not. I don't want to really get into that too much, but it's not. You miss Billy. You miss Pops, as you said. Pops. Oh, yeah. It's too bad. There's a good comment too. Bogus hype. The only thing the report confirms is that they lie.
Well, you're not.
They don't. It's not so much they lie. It's just they
omission of truth.
Right, omission of truth. Yeah, because they're telling you that there's things we don't know about. But that's really it. They're really not adding too much more. And they're saying their reasoning is because, we just don't have the equipment. We just don't have the data. It's a lack of data. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I call BS on that because
I do too.
We have so many advanced study facilities. It's not even funny. And you know, with everything that we have going on with the SETI program, with
I was saying that's my first thought was, what about SETI? You're telling me what, now that's pointed way out. So perhaps they should point that, a lot closer to us, maybe up to the moon, maybe under the oceans. Maybe they'd find something. I think they're looking too far out. They need to look in our own backyard, not the neighborhood, across the way.
No, I think you're onto something with that, because it's obvious to me there are some things at play here, and it just I'm concerned again with the national security implication, because just we talk about, and I talk about it all the time, folks, on my high heresy streams and whatnot, about our own domestic enemies, or the globalists, whatever, going after our infrastructure. Well, you're talking in a whole nother realm when you've got people from, another dimension, perhaps, perhaps another galaxy going after our infrastructure. That's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah, if it's another dimension. And look, this is part of what I think they're trying to open a doorway into with the CERN project. I think they're trying to. Well, they are, but it's not even think. I mean, they've said it themselves. We're trying to open a doorway, into another dimension. I mean, they've said that. That's their, one of their lead scientists had come out and said that a few years ago. He said that was the point of CERN. So they have this technology. Oh, go ahead, Drew.
No, I was going to say, did they follow that up with a doorway into sight and sound?
Yeah, right. Into sight and sound. Where the summit of men's fears, or the pit of men's fears, meet the summit of men's intellect. Yeah. I mean, it is the Twilight Zone. We're living in the Twilight Zone. This whole freaking last 2 years has been a Twilight Zone episode that hasn't ended.
Yes. You are not kidding.
Yeah, it's just, and now we've gotten a minute. I mean, if at the very least this is an admittance, but of, that they are actively. I don't know how actively. That's kind of a loose word, I guess, but that they are actively, quote unquote, researching this subject. I mean, that's at very least what we got. It's the first time they've admitted it publicly, to Congress. The government's not hiding the fact that there is unidentified, and that's all it is. That's all they're saying it is. It's just unidentified. But they don't know where it's coming from. They have no reason to believe, based on evidence, which is lacking. So that's why they have no reason to believe this, that it's coming from an alien race. They have no reason to believe that. But they're also saying, because they don't have the evidence. But they also are saying they don't know, they can't explain it. So, which seems kind of like a hypocritical, or not, a conflicting statement, because you can't really rule out that it's something either alien or interdimensional. You can't really rule that out if you're also saying, well, we don't know what it is. It's not that, but we don't know what it is. That's kind of a contradiction.
Sources told me that even Sasquatch gave this report 3 wood knocks and a thumbs down. I mean, it was awful
on the report.
Even he did not care for it.
Yeah, Marco Rubio put out a statement, and he pretty much summed it up, because he's one of the guys that's been leading the charge on this. He wants disclosure. He wants this stuff. Well, he wants it researched, because he finds it to be a serious security threat. And I mean,
it is
right. It is. Yeah, it really is. So, but he summed it up saying this. He said, "Quote: This report is an important first step in cataloging these incidents, but it is just a first step. The Defense Department and intelligence communities have a lot of work to do before we can actually understand whether these aerial threats present a serious national security concern." So that's what he said. And I mean, it's true. It's like, this report is it's an important first step, because they are admitting that there's something out there they can't explain, that they are sort of, cataloging it, but it's just a first step. They have a lot of work to do, because this isn't even, I mean, it's not even scratching the surface.
Bogus Hype says, somebody knows. Give me unlimited access to Area 51 in Nellis, and I'll get the info. Thank you, Stephen, for that. Thank you. Appreciate you, Stephen.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. Yeah, guys, all please do share out the stream on your social
Yes.
medias and your TikTok tic tacs.
You know, I just I really want to see just an
Oh,
in
Scott, perfect. Sorry, Drew. I think this is a perfect Scott Murphy.
yeah.
Yeah, that.
He's
Oh
not
man,
wrong.
you could not have said that better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
oh my gosh, that. I mean, yeah, geez, you're
And,
right. I mean,
and
that I think was more. I think that was actually, they more just straight up lied. Where they're just leaving things out like 50 years of history.
well, there,
But
well,
yeah,
there,
you're well said though. Well said. It's very true. Very
there's
true.
there's more. See, what bothers me about this final is there's more. Like, because if you think back to all the documented reports from citizens saying that, you know, uh, representatives of the government threatened them to keep their mouth shut and things like that.
Are you
So
talking about the UFO stuff, or are you talking about 9/11?
just the UFO stuff,
Okay.
because
Yeah,
we're
I
not
mean
going to touch the 9/11
no.
stuff.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
like
get
I
it
don't really want to
all.
go there right now, but yeah, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, with the UFO, like, well, there's the whole Men in Black,
Right.
stories of the
And
Men in Black, which came and scared people into not talking about this stuff early on.
and
Now
how many
I don't
and
know.
how
You don't really
many
hear about them as much anymore. And I think maybe it is because they're kind of starting to change the narrative, where now they want this stuff to
and
sort of come out in a way.
well, how many scores of witnesses had to sign actual documentation as well? I mean, there was so much
Yeah.
done to misdirect the public, to keep this a secret. There's still rampant speculation that a lot of people in the UFO research community are compromised and are there as plants for misdirection. So
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
know who to trust on that front either.
Right.
Soul Assassin asks, "How's my mom doing?"
How is
She
your
had
mom
a,
doing?
she had a little bit better day to day, and I know yesterday I had been planning I was going to do a big special report. Was going to do some live coverage from down at the rally, and I didn't get a chance to go because mom obviously was not doing very well health wise, and I do appreciate all the well wishes and thanks. The good thing was she didn't have to go to the ER. The bad thing was, well, she needed an emergency prescription. Thankfully, they filled it of she needed one of her blood thinners redone, and also some medicine to help with the with what she was going through as far as the sort of stroke-like symptoms. So that's all taken care of. But yeah, it was a little bit better today, but she's understandably just been in bed resting and just kind of doing my thing. So that's that. But thank you for asking, folks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to make it tonight for the show.
Oh, there was no way.
She's okay.
Dude, there was no way I was going to miss this, and I'm just a stone's throw away. So
Yeah, that's true. Well, we wish her all the best, of course. I know, it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with.
yeah, bogus hype says now it's right for Russia to disclose and really take the USA down a notch.
Yeah, well, yeah. It does, it does mention the possibility of it being a foreign power, but again, it seems pretty unlikely. Okay, here's something I found. Let's go through a little bit. Here's something I found interesting here. So, and this is page 1. It's the cover. So there you go. That's one page down out of 9 pages. That's one. So you can tell page 2, it's a preliminary report. I don't want to zoom this in. Can you guys see that? Let me see here. Let's see how I can put it over this screen. It's kind of small because it's embedded in the website, so it's a little tougher to see there. That's a little better, I guess.
Yeah.
The preliminary report is. Can you see it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The preliminary report is provided by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And it goes through what the report is. This and who's involved in it. So that's page 1 and 2 down already. From pretty much just a cover page and just a brief. Here's who collected the data, and it says it's only from November 2004 to March.
Did you notice? Did you notice the interesting mention up there when it's in organizations? If you scroll back up, DARPA.
Oh yeah, DARPA. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I know. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting that DARPA's involved somehow in this, and of course, if they're they would be if they're re-engineering anything. Of course, it doesn't say that anywhere in this report, but you think DARPA would be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's good point. Good catch there too. And then the assumption: various forms of sensors that register UAP generally operate correctly and capture enough real data to allow initial assessments, but some UAP may be attributable to sensor anomalies. So it's giving you the part of the reason why we might be getting them. It might be just anomalous data.
Yeah, because I'm sure anomalous data goes under the waves. I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure it hovers. It descends underneath the sea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's anomalous data.
Ours says a Jehovah's Witness pamphlet has more pages.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Steven says, "Good son, you are a good son, Drew.
Hey, I
You are, and you
that.
are, and a good man. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah, Jehovah's Witness pamphlet has more pages. DARPA equals shrimp treadmills. Shrimp treadmills. So the executive summary. So here, the first sentence. Here's where the real meat and potatoes of the whole thing begins, and it says the limited amount. So already it's given you a warning here. The limited amount of high quality reporting on unidentified aerial phenomenon hampers our ability to draw firm conclusions about the nature or intent of UAPs. So the limited amount of high quality reporting. Now, that's their own fault.
Mm-hmm.
For not researching. And now let me just preface this by saying I'm just taking this by the face value of the report. I'm not talking about what they really know, and how we don't believe this report's the whole truth. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about based on just this report. So let me just say that before we get in this, because I know you guys are gonna be like, well, they're lying. It's not the whole truth. Yeah, I know. We all know this, but just based on the face value of it, the limited amount of high quality reporting, it's their own fault, right? They should have been looking into this more. It's their own fault. They don't have the equipment to, well, again, I think they do, but we're just taking it for face value. Why not take civilian reports? Why not? I mean, I think someone mentioned up above was one of the first comments that, this community's done more for the UFO disclosure than the government has. There's been more civilians and active groups that have been capturing pretty high quality stuff. As good as you can from it was night vision, infrareds, scopes that capture things.
Well,
it's not all just an iPhone camera. There's some advanced equipment out there.
Yeah.
SETI, like you mentioned, SETI. Why not utilize them? Because I don't think they were involved. I didn't see their. They're not government, so I guess that's why. But I mean, there are. But why not use? Why does it have to be just the government? Like, there's a lot of resources they could be using, but they're not. So, but kind of their own fault.
But the thing is, too, you would think one of the first things that you would do would be to establish an investigation division for all the civilian reports, and because it's about time they made a dedicated government entity when looking into this phenomena, and they don't have, and they continue not to have one. I mean, you can build an intel branch of Space Force, for God's sakes, and send out government investigators,
right?
And
Yeah.
that are military, so they'll know even more.
I mean, we have the freaking Space Force, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Now, we still don't know really what they're used for, but we have them. So you got to assume that the Space Force, I mean, they've got to have some pretty high working equipment that's, able to capture some of this stuff. But yes, Lola, I'm sure the Nephilim have something to do with this. They're always muddling around, muddying the waters up. Greetings, Justin Normie. Welcome. But yeah, I mean, you're right. We have other sources to use that I don't see Space Force mentioned in this at all. Now, they have been around for a couple years, so they should at least be. And as this report does say, most of the investigations were done over the last couple years, where the technology was the best, or we have the most advanced equipment to be capturing this stuff. But I don't see Space Force being listed. Space Force is consolidating satellite under many of the branches. Space Force is ran by a commie, according to the dude they fired.
Yeah,
a commie.
Yeah. It's the first one of the first things they did, unfortunately, was take the guy that was a patriot that was in charge of it and replace him with one of these that's similar to Millie. One of those guys that completely toes the progressive line.
Yeah.
So and that was unfortunate, because the former guy that was in charge of Space Force was really on the ball.
Yeah. Well, that's I guess that's to be expected right now.
Yeah.
That's to be expected. Bogus Hype says the report calls for a program to study it, but there already was. Grand Poobah, the Grand Poobah, Elizondo, Luis Elizondo says so, and all UFO channels are kissing his butt. Well, there was Project Blue Book. I mean, there was a program in the 60s to study it. Yeah, I know Elizondo says that they are still. Well, I mean, he's come out against this report, saying that it's not telling the truth. That they actively are researching or investigating cases of either extraterrestrial / or I think he said extraterrestrial / extra dimensional. Okay, he said that himself, that he knows, because when he was there, they were studying it. He was in charge of the program, and since he's left, he from what his intel has told him, that they're still studying it, actively studying extraterrestrial / extra dimensional. Okay, so yeah, I mean, he's come out against this. So there is that as well. Tommy, welcome, Tommy.
So is this going to kick off interdimensional visitation? So are we going to come up with the technology to go to other dimensions ourselves?
Well, I think that's what CERN is trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna? Yeah, are we gonna? What's the next step after that? Take a vacation to the fifth dimension.
Yeah, right.
All expenses paid, 1 week to a hotel in the fifth dimension.
You leave and you don't come back.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the dimensional thing. Well, that's what I think these things are, But I mean, I'm coming from like a biblical framework, or lens to look at this stuff. I mean, I see a lot of this stuff coming from the second heavens, which is where the fallen realm is, and these events are being manipulated. So,
well, maybe that's what the Hotel California is, Final. Maybe it's Maybe that song's about a vacation to the fifth dimension.
No, that song is that song is it. It is a song about an occultic place where where things, where dark things were happening. I mean, it is an occultic song.
Yeah.
Where it was a ceremony. It was like it was a ceremony that was taking place there, and it was like a sort of a satanic ritualistic occurrence that happened there. And the hotel, the hotel was being used for that. Yeah, I mean, it was from what I've heard and read. Of course, I don't know this like absolute 100% truth, but from what I've heard and read, it was based on, because they were, the Eagles were sort of involved in some way, as a lot of Hollywood, and if you're going to get famous, you kind of to a degree they're in this world, this other world here. But yeah, that song was about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Cultic practices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Drew, watch out! Drew may investigate.
Tommy.
Oh, yeah, of course it's Tommy. We need Tommy to come in here and class the joint up a little bit.
Yeah.
Has CERN not seen Doom? I know, right?
Nothing is good with
Stargates. No, you open up things. Once you open up a portal, that's it. You can't.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees you can close it, because whatever's coming through. What if all they need to do is have the portal open, and then it's free reign? They can choose to keep it open.
Yeah. Why haven't we discovered the gate in Giza yet?
Yeah. Yeah. There's stargates all over the planet. Well, one of the most popular, not so far from here, is Mount Graham. It's a holy stargate, holy mountain in southern Arizona, and it's in sacred land, Native American land. The Vatican has their top observatory on the top of Mount Graham. They've got this state of the art. I think it's the best in the world telescope that's watching something. They said something is up there, and they have this device attached to it they call the Lucifer device. And I've talked about this before, so if you guys are used to the channel, you're aware of this. I've talked about this, but that site is a stargate. It's known to the Native Americans as a stargate. The Vatican had to fight really hard to get them to allow them to put an observatory in the top of the mountain. They didn't want it because it is sacred to them. It's known as a stargate. So there's stargates all over the planet, but there are quite a few over in the Middle East too.
No, man. The
Lucifer device. Yeah,
the first thing.
It's it's L.U. It's an anagram. It stands for something.
Yeah. The first thing. The first thing that I think of, non-religious thing I think of when you bring up Lucifer is, from the original Battlestar, that more advanced Cylon, the one that used to talk back to Baltar, give him crap all the time.
Oh, they named it Lucifer.
Yeah.
There's always parallels, isn't there? There's always parallels to biblical, light and dark, good and evil.
Well, and just from a fascinating perspective, because I've always wondered where we derived our religious imagery from. And, when you get into objectively, when you get into and start thinking about, the ancient aliens theory, the fact that our very, depictions of saints and religious figures and particular figures, because the way that they're depicted, they have a certain glow around them, certain auras, very visible, halo or illumination above their heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You wonder. I mean, it's interesting about that. If we were indeed had contact with so many thousands of years ago with a society, whether it be interdimensional, whether it be, you know, from another galaxy, that sort of started us all off.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, we don't know. I mean, sure, religious wise, I know myself, I know Final, you know, we do walk with God. We do believe in God, but you know, if you step back and take a separation and just take an objective look, that theory is still very fascinating, and there's very interesting questions to be answered if you go along that line of investigation.
Yeah, you know, I have a book here. You make a good point. I have a book here that actually talks. It goes into detail about imagery of, you know, Satan and angelic creatures, and where we might get some of this stuff from. And it traces back to, a lot of it goes back to Sumer, uh, you know, and Mesopotamia. You know, Sumer was like the
Mm-hmm.
first development civilization of Mesopotamia. Uh, and it
Sumeria.
talks about, yeah, Sumeria, yep, and it talks about these entities that were, you know, known as like the sky gods, the gods that came down and, you know, would develop technology, would rule over humans. Now, in my opinion, this was the fallen angelic hosts, you know, who rebelled against God. That they,
Right.
you know, they came down and wanted worship for themselves. But it gives a descript. It's amazing how far back this stuff goes, and how everything is connected. It's all related. You know, through the generations, these entities have just taken on different personas, different names, but they're the same entities. You know, through cultures, through times. Um, the Leviathan, how that's connected to Satan. Why we picture the devil with horns. I mean, that goes back to a bull. You know, one of the gods, one of the head
Mm-hmm.
gods of Sumer, which was a bull. You know, had the horns, and you know, this stuff is all connected. Uh,
Right. Sorry about
but oh, got some music there. But this is the book. If you guys want to, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to take that off. But this is the book. If you guys want to check it out, it's called. What's my camera? There we go. Giants, Gods, and Dragons, and it just goes into incredible detail of the history of these entities, and how it's the same entities, you know, that have gone through the ages. Uh, Satan, you know, that Satan is not a specific entity; it's a title. It's like saying general, you know, but these entities have names. Nimrod, how Nimrod, Apollyon, Apollo, it's all the same entity throughout time. But this is a really interesting book. It's by Derek and Sharon Gilbert, who are Christians, but also scientists. I mean, Sharon was I believe she was a biologist,
that. Mm-hmm.
maybe even a virologist. She was a biologist, though, I believe. So, I mean, they come from a science background, but also have a biblical framework. But it's amazing how they go, how just everything is so connected. You know, it's so connected.
Absolutely, you know, and there probably is a connection there, and I think eventually we're going to find that out. You know, a lot of the problem that this whole thing represents is you know, if it indeed becomes a reality that we are not alone in the universe. We share the galaxy. You know, it's a vast place with tons of different civilizations and citizens within. Um, it's going to be a huge revelation. Just the discovery of different life. There's going to be some some things that do call our major religious belief systems into question, or at least it'll fundamentally change some of the the philosophy and also the way that we look at them.
Well, you know, that's part of the Vatican. That's what they're saying, that when, you know, when this stuff comes about, like, if, I mean, they say, well, if a ET's ever revealed, you know, if there is extraterrestrials that are revealed and come down, we're gonna have to rethink, you know, our whole our whole religious system. And this is the Vatican talking about this, and that maybe these entities will be closer to God than than we are, and maybe they'll know more, and maybe they'll teach us, and maybe they'll which I think is, I mean, considering it's the Vatican saying this, I think it's heresy. Because like the Word of God is written, it's supposed to be written directly for us. Everything we need to know is in there. So anything that's outside of there would be viewed as a lie. And plus, the Bible itself talks about a grand deception that's so strong that even the elite would be fooled if it were possible, that will come upon the whole world in the last days, the end of days, which in my opinion, I think we're ramping up towards. So you hear about this some kind of mass deception in the Bible, and then you see all this ET stuff, and you have the Vatican saying, "Hey, maybe they're gonna, baptize us." Like, whoa. You're kind of taking the words of prophecy and you're making it come true. The great falling away. I mean, there's so much there to talk about the end days, and then you have certain religious organizations kind of confirming it. It's kind of crazy. Like, why would the Vatican be saying that the aliens, whatever they are, whoever they are, or interdimensional, whatever it is, would know more and teach us? Because the God's given us His word. It's His word. So there's nothing outside there. He didn't give someone else word. It's like that's His word. That's humanity. Jesus is the kinsman redeemer for humans. So there's no need to have any. There's no one else that could teach us more. Anything else is going to be deception. Especially when the Bible says, "Hey, look, there's going to be deception." It's going to be a grand deception in the end of days, in the end times.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm very. It's fascinating that they're saying that stuff, because I think that's like they're setting up the grand deception. I think I see that as like they're setting the stage for this prophecy to be fulfilled, and I think it's soon. I think it's coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the way that society is turned on its head. And I don't want to get into a lengthy morality discussion, but it's just there's just a lot of things to tell you that when I asked you the question a couple weeks back, between you and I, do you think that we're in the end times? And you said, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's validity to that, because if you think about the way that it is now, folks, all right, it's almost as if someone or something has made a push to, turn twisted reality into true reality. And what I'm saying is trying to pass something, off, something totally immoral, something totally, doesn't make sense. It's not factual, but trying to pass it off as a new reality, when indeed the reality that we all know, that we've grown up on, is truly the one, but we're turning away from that at the behest of, whoever these faceless morons are that are behind it all. But it seems, though, that there's been a huge push for that, especially the past 20 years. And it's alarming. And Final's not wrong when we're at the place now where, sure, it does feel like we're in the end times, because there are so many things being accepted as part of our culture, part of society, that are completely immoral, completely wrong. And, it makes you scratch your head, because, you go back to when I was 10, 12 years old, around 84, 86, this stuff was not, this was way abnormal. This is way out of bounds. So, yeah.
Yeah, let me this is okay, so this is from 2 Thessalonians. This is Paul writing, and he's talking about the end times here. And he says, this is verse 8, "And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Now that's the second coming he's talking about. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So Satan's coming with all powers and signs in the heavens, miracles, so to speak, quote unquote, and lying wonders. So he's, so you're already told, like, Satan's coming in the end times, in the end of days. He's going to be coming with, lying wonders, signs. It's going to seem like miracles. There's all kind of stuff, right? And then he says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this, God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. All right. So, now you just put the pieces together. You got to take all these verses about the prophecies of the end times and try to figure out what exactly they're talking about. But here we see Satan's coming with all signs and lying wonders, power, that God's going to send strong delusion, that those who don't believe the truth, that they shall believe a lie. There's another passage where Paul's talking about something fearful that's going to come upon the world. And it's going to scare men's hearts. Men's hearts will fail them, it says. So you see all this stuff, and then you see, wow, look at this UFO. Look at these, look at signs and all this mirror. These crazy, is it lying wonders? Is this Satan coming with all signs and lying wonders? Is the lie? There's another area. There's another passage where it talks about the that there'll be a great deception, in the end times. But is that the lie? Is that connecting? Is that verse connect to this verse? That God should send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie because they love not the truth. So you got to put all these things kind of together, and you start to see a picture, of.
Yeah.
And then this isn't even talking about Revelation, the book of Revelation.
Just a few hours ago, hail bear.
Nephilim.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just a few hours ago, and it was Breaking 911 that tweeted this. And thank you to the different friends here in the chat that retweeted this, so it was easy to see on my Twitter feed. The WHO recommends masks and social distancing for both vaccinated and unvaccinated people due to the Delta COVID variant. So there you go. We're getting a whole another round of the scare treatment.
Well, not only that, Drew, they're saying, and I don't want to get too into this, but they're saying that this strain is particularly dangerous to children. And guess who they're trying to get with the jab right now? They're trying to. So yeah, I know that it's
it's convenient.
Yeah. Huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there was a story today that this is unbelievable. It's unbelievable, but at this point, it's believable that the children's oh my gosh, I can't think. It's the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Make-A-Wish Foundation. Did you see this? Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah. The president of Make-A-Wish Foundation saying that they will not grant. If you're a terminal kid and you don't have much time left, right? The Make-A-Wish Foundation tries to make a dream come true before it's time to pass on into the next world.
They were a great charity.
They were a great charity. Yeah. I mean, making a kid's dream come true, Well, now they're only going to do it if the kid and every one of the family members, direct family members, they've all received the jab. So you have to have a family, all jab proof for that kid's dream to come true. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into
it. But you're talking a forced segregation again of vaccinated versus unvaccinated, and this is just a drop in the bucket, folks. This is a symptom of a much larger problem, and again, wouldn't it be crazy? Now, remember something that Spock said. Remember something that Spock said in Star Trek. That you can never discount even the most wild and crazy thing, because it may still be a real possibility. Think about this. what if this is a grand transhumanist experiment,
Oh,
and they are injecting us with the vaccine
hmm
in
hmm
order to fulfill some requirement of an agreed upon thing that they have with either these inhabitants of a different dimension or a different galaxy. Think
well,
about that.
and that's where the this mark of the beast, the talk of the mark of the beast here in the chat. That's where it gets interesting. I mean, I don't believe that this is the jab is. I don't believe it is, because it's not. It doesn't fulfill all the requirements, but it certainly is a
Close.
test run. It's certainly a prelude. Yeah, and you're right. It could turn into something in the future that's integrated into it. Yeah, because like RR saying, it's DNA altering. It is. It's taking
Mhm.
the mRNA and adding or alternating it. So for sure, it's definitely messing with the DNA. And look, that's we always talk about the Nephilim, and joke about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, it's scary, scary stuff, and that's
Yes, it
exactly
is.
what the Nephilim is. That's what the fallen ones did. Early on, they came down to destroy the genetic code of mankind to stop the Messiah from coming. That was their point. They wanted to take the DNA of man. They figured if they could alter the DNA enough, then the Messiah could never be born, because he had to come through a human bloodline. He had to have pure human blood DNA. If they can alter that, then there's no Messiah. They failed. God intervened and put a stop to it with the flood, and but it was close. They almost had it. They almost had it, and that is again. Look, Jesus says the end days will be like the days of Noah. One of the
Yeah.
main characteristics of the days of Noah were that the Nephilim were on the earth in those days. The giants were on the earth in those days, and also after. And
Yeah.
that was one of the main things of the days of Noah. I mean, there's a lot. There's the immorality and all that, but that a lot of that was because the genetic code was so tainted. And Jesus said in the end times it's going to be like that. So what do we have now? We have CRISPR-Cas9, genetic manipulation, genetic altering. We can change the DNA. Now we've got this jab, which is, like it's literally nanotechnology is adhering itself and messing with the mRNA. So there is this genetic, this genetic altering again that's happening, and this was prophesied to happen in the end time. So you start, like I was saying, you start putting all this stuff together, you get this picture, this painting of like, oh my gosh, all the stuff that was foretold to happen is happening. But I don't think the right now the jab is the mark of the beast, but it certainly is. Could be a prelude to it. Yeah. Chimera. I mean, the Chimera thing. It was a few years ago. London said they had like, I forget how many embryos. Oh, but we destroyed them all. Well, did they? I mean, how do we know?
Sure.
How do we know that they did? Yeah, it's. Man, it's exciting but scary times.
Yeah, it is.
10 days. Oh, who said 10 days, Bear? Oh, first of all, Bear, I gotta say, I was listening. I got home late last night. I just jumped on and I saw you were live, so I just jumped in just to listen for a little bit before I went to bed. And I heard a song you were playing, that one of Bear's songs, and man, it was fantastic. You and Steven were on, and it was about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And telling a story to be told. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Literally, Bear, it was so good. So if that stream is up, I would say you should release a video of that song, because it's so good, Bear. The lyrics, I mean, it was poetry.
Yeah,
it was poetry. It was so damn good. It was such a great song. And the way that the way you picked the music you pick to write to, but my goodness, it was just a great song, Bear. Great song. I just want to mention that. So I saw you here. And yeah, everyone in the chat, go listen to that song. Bear, put out a video of that song.
The great creator, man. The great creator.
Yeah, it was poetry. That the lyrics are fantastic. It's like, oh man, it's inspirational. It just gives you chills. It's just so damn good. It was so damn good.
Great creator giving Bear that energy. But Bear's been doing well with this music stuff for a while, guys, and it is worth checking out. He's got some real interesting songs. It's not really not really a discernible style. It's a kind of a blend of a lot of different
Yeah,
styles.
he's got a few different styles that he blends in. It's
But
very
but
unique to him. Yeah.
but it's definitely unique, and it's definitely Bear. And those of us that are his buddies that know him, yeah, it's definitely Bear. So do check Bear's channel out, subscribe to him, show him some love, because he's a good dude, and he's also a very loyal dude, and much appreciated, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely. The link to it, Bear, if you have the link, you can put it in the chat. Yeah. I think you're modded. If you're not, you should be modded. But if you're not, I'll mod you.
Final, give me a minute or two.
Sure.
Step away for a second, but
yeah, no problem. I'm gonna see if where's my. How do I get to my own stream? Can't even find your own stream. Make sure that Bear has a mod. Yeah, but if you have that link, Bear, throw it in. Here we go. On Streamlabs or StreamYard, you can't see. Oh yeah, you do. Okay, you got it, Wrench. So yeah, just throw it in there. Let people listen to it. Maybe give them a time mark, because I just jumped in when I got home and before I went to bed, so I don't know what point I jumped in the show. I'm not sure where to tell people to go, but you did you listened to the live recording of it that you did, and then you sang it live. This singing it live. My goodness, it was really good. I just love that. I thought it was a great song. So anyway, yeah. So, but we're definitely headed towards something, and I think that the Culture Casino. What's up, Culture? Welcome. Are there boobs in here? Well, then we've got a few. I'm sure. Boob heads, at least. There we. Oh yeah. There's a. There it is. Okay, there you go. There it is, Bear. Yeah, there it is. There's the link there. So you can go check out that song though. Man, it was really good. Patriotic, and yeah. Really liked it. So I think we're headed towards something. Look, this is why I think they're trying to push this. I mean, they're not pushing it. I think you're right. When RR said, I think they're testing the waters. Yeah, I think so. I think they're testing the waters. They're seeing how this thing might play out, because they gave you just enough to kind of say, yeah, it's true, but we're not giving you too many details. And it's very limited to just 2004 to 2021. So it's a very limited time frame. But here, so they go on to say, after saying that the limited amount of high quality reporting on unidentified aerial phenomenon hampers our ability to draw firm conclusions. Well, it's limited high quality. It's your own fault. Again, we're just taking this at face value. We're not getting into the misinformation or, whatever. But it goes on to say, because the reporting lacked sufficient specificity, ultimately recognized that a unique tailored reporting process was required to provide sufficient data. They've had this before. This is what Project Blue Book was about in the 60s. Like they had a tailored reporting process. They ended it. Well, I mean, again, just going on face value. Now, Luis Elizondo says that's not true. They have been and are still actively recording this on a better, doing a better job at it. But just on face value of the document, they're saying that they need a better tailored reporting process and that their equipment is just not up to snuff. But, it's their own fault. They have so many options they could go with. Most of the UAP reported probably do represent physical objects, given that a majority of UAP were registered across multiple sensors to include radar, infrared, electro-optical, weapon seekers, and visual observation. So here they do admit that it's physical. There are these are physical objects. It's not just swamp gas. They're saying it's not swamp gas. So there is that admittance, but again, it's very thin. In a limited number of incidents, UAP reportedly appeared to exhibit unusual flight characteristics. Yeah, I'd say so. These observations could be the result of sensor error, spoofing, or observer misperception. and require additional rigorous analysis. Well, you have the pilots like David Fravor, the Nimitz encounter. I mean, this guy's a trained pilot, and it's not just him. There's been several encounters with Navy pilots that track this stuff, and these guys are you can hear them in the recording. I mean, they're stunned, they're shocked by what they see. And they're not. That's not a sensor error, or observer misperception. I mean, you can clearly see if there's some circular type object that's doing crazy patterns, defying physics. This isn't an error or observer misperception. So, but they're just giving you the possibilities. It could possibly be this, but I find that very, very, very unlikely. Considering the sources, like these are the guys you look to that are supposed to be trained to observe this kind of stuff. I mean, if you can't trust them, well, who can you trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who can you trust? Because those are the guys you're supposed to. They're trained in the skills of observation, so you can go to them. You're supposed to be able to trust what they see and take it as, as, hey, that's like, you're supposed to trust someone like that in their position over just the bystander, the civilian, right? Because they haven't had the training. They're not used to being in those situations. But I mean, a Navy pilot, they're used to being in those situations. They're trained for it, so I mean, it's kind of, anyway. UAP clearly pose a safety. Oh, go ahead, Drew.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it's just, the explanations in this thing as I leafed through it were just laughable. And I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah, this is like the
the
UFO disclosure for dummies.
I like even where they say in a catch-all other bin.
Yeah, okay, I know the catch-all other bin, which is what all this like. That's what all the stuff. The 143 out of the 144 fall into the category of catch-all other bin.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's such like a dismissive little here. It's right here that we're talking about right here.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that this stuff all could fall into one of 5 potential categories: airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomenon, USG or U.S. industry development programs, which I found that to be interesting. U.S. industry developmental programs. I think that's where DARPA comes into play, right?
Yeah.
Foreign adversary systems, and a catch-all quote other bin. Yeah. And this is where this is where like the extra dimensional, extra planetary, it's in the quote other bin.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of just made me chuckle when I read that. I was like, okay, Yeah,
oh yeah, for sure. It's like, oh really? You're just kind of dismissing it as other. Hail Yeti Cast, welcome Yeti Cast. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in and joining us.
Yeah, thanks for gracing the chat, Yeti Cast. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Yeti Cast is a great channel if you guys don't know him.
Yep. Oh, that dude's been growing by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, as he should be. UAP clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, I mean, okay, really? Oh, interesting. But they do mention something that I found interesting. I mean, it's kind of, we sort of know this already, but it talks about the when these occurrences happen. Most of them happen, and it seems to be they're right in the middle of military exercises. So I think it's here. Let's see here. The Air Force subsequently adopt the mechanism in November 2020, but remains limited. Yeah, okay. No, it might be down below here. It talks about how these things are. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. 144 reports originated from USG sources. Of these, 80 reports involved observation with multiple sensors. So 80 of the 144 had multiple sensors that picked up on this stuff. So it wasn't just like a radar or a sighting by a pilot. I mean, it had multiple sensors, 80 of them. So that's pretty high.
Yeah, you're talking about this was detected by possible shipboard early warning systems or radar, sonar,
Sonar, right?
all kinds of sensor suites were involved in this. And so it wasn't just aircraft platform systems. It wasn't just sensors and radar in aircraft. This was coming from seagoing platforms as well. So you have to wonder, okay, well, what did they find? And see, that's the whole thing that's frustrating. They don't go into what they found.
Yeah. Right. They don't. That's the thing. They don't talk about what they found.
Yeah.
They just say they found, they've got data that shows anomalies, but they don't really talk about it. But here's what I found interesting too. Most reports describe UAP as objects that interrupted pre-planned training or other military activity. Okay, so that's interesting. I mean, we kind of knew that because all the the Navy encounters, but it is interesting that they say this. So I mean, that means that these things, it can't be another military. I think it rules it out, because how would other militaries, unless they have a really advanced spy system, which maybe if this technology exists in another country, but why would they just take us out by now? But they happen to know exactly when the military drills are. So that means it's either our government, that are a secret sect within our government that's testing technology that we have that maybe we reverse engineered, against our own government, right? Or these entities are just so far advanced, that they know that their sensors pick up, anything we're trying to do. They're just able to detect, any kind of military exercises, energy patterns, maybe advanced, extra energy patterns that are emitted during exercises or when exercises begin. They know exactly when these things are happening. And I mean, that's what it seems like to me. It tells me either it's our military and they know when our exercises are happening, so they're able to plan this stuff, or these advanced, extraterrestrial / extra dimensional entities know when this stuff's happening because they're just able to pick it up. Especially if you want to talk about the mind reading abilities that allegedly these entities have, where they're able to communicate on like an ESP type level. Well, then they would know pretty much anything, right? They'd be able to easily tell when exercises were going to begin. But these objects interrupt at these military times, these training times. What do you think about that, Drew? Did you find that interesting at all?
Yeah, that's funny. Can you imagine if somehow, like, you're rookie coming in for your training, rookie pilot, whatever, and they're like, yeah, today's training is you versus aliens.
Yeah.
But no, the thing about it is,
What's up, Darius?
It is kind of weird that it did interrupt pre-planned training, but again, it says other military activity, so that's not restricted to just training. So
no, you're right. You're right.
So what was it? Did they interrupt actual tests? Did they interrupt actual patrols? That.
Did they interrupt a combat situation that we don't know about?
Yeah, exactly.
Operation Paperclip. I mean, this doesn't go back that far, but something like that. Operation Paperclip. Is there something like that happened? Was this did it interrupt an actual military operation? Did it stop it? Did it cause it? Was it the cause of it? Gosh, that would be really something, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So much, so many things that is just, God, it's just so frustrating that it's they don't share anything.
Yeah. They really really play it close to the vest. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I did find that odd here. But now it talks about the challenges, the UAP collection challenges. First of all, it should be their unwillingness to reveal this information to the public. That should be it. It should be one bullet point. That should be it. Our own unwillingness to disclose this to the public. Case closed. There it is. But instead they give you reasons. Sociocultural stigmas. Sociocultural stigmas. Again, their own fault for making people, for trying to suppress the truth, scare people into not talking about it, right? People lose their jobs over talking about military pilots would, they used to. It's getting better now, but they used to be in fear of losing their jobs and having a psychoanalysis if they talked about this stuff. I mean, that's their own fault, right? So they're the cause of their own sociocultural stigmas. It's never been.
Well, they built a culture of fear about coming forward about these situations because if you did previously, and if you were in a sensitive position in the government, they would immediately hit you with oh, nice, Tommy. They would immediately hit you with an NDA and threats of, well, we're going, you realize that you're going to sound crazy and you don't want to be portrayed as crazy. And they essentially let these people know that they'll be portrayed as, not mentally all there. And
it's going to ruin their life.
And there was a whole, you would be shocked, folks, at just the sheer amount of situations, civilian and within government alike, where people were essentially browbeaten into silence.
Oh, well, here, let's see. Justin Army said, interesting. I am under an NDA for the work I did overseas as a contractor. It sucks. Yeah, there you go. Now, that has a termination date, right? Justin Army. At some point, that the NDA will terminate. Yeah, interesting. But yes, that's the problem. The sociocultural stigmas. Yet it's a lot of it's their own. Now, I understand if it's an NDA, if it's like reverse engineering something, and I get that, but a lot of this stuff was not 50 years. Okay, yeah. So a lot of this stuff was not, they're not working on reverse engineering. It's just a sighting. They don't know what it is, but they were, you couldn't even talk about it. So it's different than like an NDA for some kind of, some kind of contract you had and where you worked on some operation or you were reverse engineering something. I get that, but we're just talking about basic sightings, and you were told not to talk about it. So
Tommy's got the jokes tonight.
I know.
Oh yeah, I just picture Tommy sitting over there. He's cracking up. He's a number-based race on the size of their face, Drew.
That's a great impression. Oh man, it sounds just like him. That's funny. Man, you nailed him. And then sensor limitations remain obstacles to collecting data on UAP. Okay, sensor limitations. Although some technological challenges, such as how to appropriately filter out radar clutter to ensure safety of flight for military and civilian aircraft, are long-standing in the aviation community, while others are unique to the UAP problem set. Narratives from aviators in the operational community and analysis from the military and IC describe disparagement associated with observing UAP, reporting it, or attempting to discuss it with their colleagues. Although the effects of these stigmas have lessened as senior members of scientific policy, military, and intelligence communities engage on the topic seriously in public, reputational risk may keep many observers silent, complicating scientific pursuit of the topic. Well, I think at this point it should not. I mean, first of all, it's their own fault for causing this, but it should not be at this point. I mean, especially with this report, like I said, at the very least, it's saying that this stuff is real, so you shouldn't have to feel like you're
if you
talking about it.
I mean, think about it. Well, why would people be reluctant to come forward? Well, geez, you've made a whole thing of browbeating people into silence for decades.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh, people are reluctant to come forward. You think?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know.
Now,
Yep.
I mean, because this was up to and including in some cases with different civilians that described it, threats were made against the well being of their family.
Yeah.
So, this is very serious stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't necessarily buy that sensors didn't went wrong or didn't pick this stuff up. Do you? Okay, you think about it, folks. Like take a Navy aircraft for example, the AWACS capable aircraft. All our advanced command and control systems or coordination systems up in the sky. Like an AWACS platform, it's early warning. It also expands the radar area to a large degree. And some of the most like cutting edge sensor technology is in those particular craft. Same thing with the old E2C Hawkeyes, the EA6 Prowlers, the aircraft of that nature. So you mean to tell me that the sensors that delicate weren't picking these things up, or that they were wrong? I tend to trust the equipment over that explanation.
Yeah, it's the reason here is the sensors mounted on U.S. military platforms are typically designed to fulfill specific missions. As a result, those sensors are not generally suited for identifying UAP. So that's the reason they're giving that they're designed for a specific mission, but it's not designed for identifying these UAPs. But yeah, I mean it's hard to believe that sensor vantage points and the numbers of sensors concurrently observing an object plays substantial roles in distinguishing UAP from known objects and determining whether a UAP demonstrates breakthrough aerospace capabilities. Optical sensors have the benefit of providing some insight into relative size, shape, and structure. Radio frequency sensors provide more accurate velocity of range information. So, they're saying like they might have the optical sensor, but it doesn't have the radio frequency sensor. It's designed for a specific mission and it might not have all of these. I mean, that's the reason they're giving. Now, whether you want to believe that or not. Yeah, I agree. It's hard to believe that
Yes,
these things are not picking up, especially when they said 80 out of the 144 were captured by multiple sensors. So it's like, well, okay, well, what we're capturing those then, But that's the reason they're giving there.
Yeah, the capabilities on a lot of these aircraft, especially the ones tailor made for those particular roles, they're supposed to expand the mission profile when giving support in the air. So you better believe there is sophisticated identification technology in those aircraft. So they're going to know what something is at a moment's notice, because a lot of their job is to relay that to the pilot. So they're going to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's so I find that a little hard to believe, but okay, all right, going just by what they're saying. Okay, sure, okay.
Yeah, so some of those aircraft are flying sensors in themselves.
Yeah, the whole aircraft is a sensor, right?
Yeah.
So, but then they go on to say, this is the next page. We're already like halfway. We're more than halfway through it because this is 4 out of 9, and 8 and 9 don't say anything. It's just the appendix. So, so far we haven't got a lot of detail, right?
No.
There's some explanations as to why they're not able to capture things, but we're already halfway through it, or more than halfway through it. Although, so it says here, but potential patterns do emerge. Although there was wide variability in the reports and the data set is currently too limited to allow for detailed trend or pattern analysis, there was some clustering of UAP observations regarding shape, size, particularly propulsion. UAP sightings also tended to cluster around U.S. training and testing grounds. Okay, this is, again, they're saying it's happening around military, but we assess that this may result from a collection bias as a result of focused attention. Greater numbers of latest generation sensors operating in those areas. Unit expectations guidance to report anomalies. I can see what they're saying there, though. I mean,
I
they have the.
understand that.
Yeah, but it's funny because they just got done saying like, well, these things just don't always have the technology and the sensors in place, and then they go on to say, well, because of the latest generation sensors, it's like, okay, well, do you or don't you?
Well,
I get it, but
speaking to that, let's highlight Cabatino's comment down there.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I haven't. Let me see
About the
M1E2.
Yeah.
Abrams' main battle tanks for the past 20 years have software to differentiate between friendly and unfriendly vehicles. Yeah.
Again, if it comes back through the ID system as unidentified, well, most anybody is going to, count that as a bogey. You always count an unidentified as a bogey until you get ID.
Yeah. Right. Now, I don't know. Maybe they're just counting them as bogeys. And they're not looking into it any farther than that. But that is interesting. That is a good point, though. That is a good point. For the last 20 years, 20 years, well, I would think they'd be even more advanced now. They were able to do that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They should be able to have a lot more advanced equipment. The latest generation sensors, as it says right here in the report, which, followed the paragraph talking about how they didn't have sensors up to speed. Yeah, irony. And a handful of UAP appeared to demonstrate advanced technology. In 18 incidents described in 21 reports, observers reported unusual UAP movement patterns or flight characteristics. Yeah, 18 incidents.
Well, let's think if the thing is hovering and then all of a sudden turns on a dime and heads away at a ridiculous rate of speed unknown to any other aircraft. I mean, yeah, I would say.
Right. And that's also, I don't think, when you're able to do something like that, that's not a what did they say before? A misinterpretation or something by the pilot. That's obviously some trained pilot is going to know that aircraft is breaking the law of physics. It's not like, oh my gosh, did he just stop on the dime and do a 90-degree right turn, in 0.3 seconds, or am I mistaken? I mean, that's not something you're not sure about. Like, either the craft can do that or it breaks the laws of physics. It's pretty cut and dry there.
Exactly.
Just Normie says that drones have the ability to know friendly from unfriendly due to something in the lining of military uniforms. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and he goes on, technology. Yeah, exactly, Darius. He goes on, most drones fly through AI. The pilot has to make the kill shot because of the law. Otherwise, the drone could make the kill shot. Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, otherwise you've got Skynet. They don't have the license. Yeah. They don't have the license to kill.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Gosh, nor do I want them having that kind of autonomy. I don't want them having that kind of autonomy. Pilots are some of the best trained to be aware of their surroundings. Exactly. Yes, exactly. They are trained for that. So if you can't take them at their word, I mean, then there's literally no one else you can trust. There's no source they're the ones that are trained for it. So you better take them at their word. Otherwise, by not taking them at their word or saying, oh, maybe it was a misconception or maybe they, misidentified, that's saying you're not trusting your own trained pilots. Yeah. You're not trusting your own military. The guys that are supposed to be saving this country and defending our world, you're not trusting them. You trained them. You're not trusting them. That's what you're saying by, stating this kind of stuff. Well, it might just be that they just misidentified. That's probably it. Well, really? So you don't trust your own military, the guys you trained? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's part of the reason RR that they're trying to mimic, a human mind. But see, you can't mimic humanity for one simple reason, RR, and because you can never put a soul in a machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
You
is
you never teach them morality. Well, here, like, look
yeah,
at Justin Norby's. I mean, I don't. I'm not shocked that that there was talk of that
yeah,
possibly happening. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, exactly. Like
It's
you can't teach a machine morality. You can train. You can type in right and wrong and give scenarios and have it understand logically, but it's still not going to have. It's still not going to understand morally right from wrong.
man. I'm telling you guys, man. They're building the Cylons. Just wait. They're building the Cylons.
That's why R says that's why they want to merge man with machine.
Yep, the Centurions are going to start just walking into stuff, and it ain't going to be the 1978 ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did a video on that with I did it for eHackers channel. It was about it was a Johnny Depp movie, Transcendence, where it's basically what they do. They try to merge man and machine, and it creates like this. Well, he wants to create a town first of all, and then he's got plans to have the whole world assimilate, and it's I mean that's the danger. Yes, there was it was Facebook or Google or something that shut down the AIs. They started talking to each other and they couldn't exactly tell what they were saying to each other. So they couldn't really tell. They didn't know if it was creating its own language. It was just communicating. It seemed to be communicating back and forth with each other, but they couldn't tell why or what it was saying. So they shut it down. Oh, Justin Normie describes it there too. Yeah, well, it's Facebook. Yeah, it shut down the program because it went off its own, creating its own language and so on. Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, right. They weren't exactly sure what it was doing, but they knew that they were communicating with each other. So, like, well, it's plotting the takeover of man. So, better shut it down. Arnold's too old to save us. Yeah, but they can just, de-age his face, de-age technology. If we're all going to be merged with machine anyway. We can all be de-aged. Reminds me of the idea to give a rifle to a monkey. You can teach it to shoot people, but you can't teach it to distinguish the enemy. Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't teach it like right from wrong. It's just not gonna go that way. Damn, Facebook, root of all evil. I was watching Jason Bourne last night. The most recent one, like 2016. And the plot of that was very interesting. It's kind of like what's happening now. They kind of show you 5 years ago some of the stuff we're facing today with privacy technology, government using these technologies to. Well, I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, watch that movie. It's interesting. It's interesting. The Facebook IA bots were using fewer words more repetitively until it became unintelligible. Yeah. Unintelligible for us peons of humanity. Yeah, very interesting. Fenrir Fire, welcome. Welcome.
Hail, Fenrir Fire. I was trying to talk and I was on mute.
Oh. They're contemplating the universe.
Yeah. Planning for the impending attack of the Cylons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You gotta get your do you know the zombie apocalypse? Like the is it the Department of Defense or gosh, who is it? They have like a plan. No, it's like the WHO? No. Gosh, what is it? There's one organization that actually came out with a CD. That's it. It's the CDC. Yeah, it's the CDC. They have a zombie apocalypse scenario.
Yeah, they had.
Like it's a serious. They actually did that. Yeah.
Yeah, like they had an actual plan. No, like if anything, I really do think that if something will come along, and it's going to involve like transhumanism or we're going to let AI and we're going to let robotics get out of control and merge the two, and look what happens.
Yeah, yeah. We have to build a time machine and send Drew back to the 80s to warn the world. Yeah. There was that story of that time traveler who came back in time and
Man,
tried to warn the world.
Soul Assassin, I would love to do that, because I would love to sit down with 12, 13, 14-year-old me and be like, okay, don't get involved with this chick. Don't get involved with this chick. Don't make this decision. And oh yeah, warn the world that the invasion's coming.
But P.S. Warn the world, invasion's coming. Oh, by the way, the Cylons are taking over. During the war, we were experimenting with so much tech. You can't do that in a controlled environment. I heard so many rumors. Yeah.
Darius Munchausen, you are correct about that.
Interesting.
At least back when science fiction was good, brother.
You can't do that in a controlled environment. Yeah, so they had to. So you say you had to train. You had to experiment with this tech in the open field. Yeah, and then what? You got collateral damage. Oh, well, it's collateral damage for the greater good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy new world, brave new world. All our warnings have been there in sci-fi. Yeah, you wonder if it was intentional too.
Yeah.
They show,
but as I said, we have to amend that to when there was still good writing in sci-fi.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And now they're warning us of, gender issues and
mm-hmm.
no longer worried about the Cylons taking over. Some UAP appear to remain stationary in winds aloft, move against the wind, maneuver abruptly, or move to considerable speed without discernible means of propulsion. In a small number of cases, military aircraft systems process radio frequency energy associated with UAP sightings. The UAPTF holds a small amount of data that appear to show UAP demonstrating acceleration or a degree of signature management. Additional rigorous analysis are necessary by multiple teams or groups of technical experts to determine the nature and validity of these data. We are conducting further analysis to determine if breakthrough technologies were demonstrated. I think that's pretty clear. They were.
Yeah.
So they're conducting further analysis. Again, they said this is just a preliminary report. But, when are we going to get another one? I think they actually do say they're going to follow this up in some time frame. I forget when it is.
Well,
I think they do say they're going to follow it up.
It's fascinating that with some of these craft, like RF energy is associated with the propulsion system. Or just I don't know that it's there's a lot of it present. So yeah, it's interesting.
And here they say it probably lacks a single explanation, and they talk about the fit into their 5 potential categories. Didn't they already say this? Did they cut and paste?
Exactly.
They cut and paste the whole paragraph. Oh my gosh, did they? You got like 9 pages minus like the first page, the first 2 pages, and then the last 2 pages. It's like that's all it is. It's like 5. It's basically 5 pages. Did they cut and paste? Wasn't it up above? Where was that other bin? Remember we talked about that? Was that the page before, or did we just go back? Did we back up? I don't remember. Here's 3.
That was back on 2, I think.
Was it 2? Okay. No, I thought it was. Oh, yeah, here it is. No, yeah, it's page 3. Other bin. Yeah, here's the 5 potential. Yeah, analysis, task force, constructs individual UAP instances, blah, 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 right? It talks about the 5. That's like exactly what it's like. It says the same thing. Like, we're running out of stuff to say. We're running out of, more crap to talk about. Let's just cut and paste it.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Man, yeah, that's really
like I said, the eye rolling you have a big eye roll in conclusion after you read this report, folks. It's just, God, it's such a nothing burger.
Yeah, our analysis of data supports the construct that if the individual pay you, if as a result, it's the same exact. It is. They cut and paste it. It's the same exact phrasing from here on. From our analysis, that is all just cut and pasted from the page 3. So there you have a whole paragraph that was not even new. Wow.
So it's asking, we did get trolled by the disclosure.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah, because they just freaking cut and pasted a whole paragraph. Oh, man. That's... I had to work in this tech. Okay, yeah, I saw you said they're just normie. Yeah, I had to do unknown environments. Already have weapons to deal with zombies, Rambo-style knife, collapsible baton, katana, baton, 2 concealed blades. No need to worry about that ammunition. Cavatinia's ready. He is ready for it. I'm starting to think you actually want it to happen. It's actually looking forward to this, aren't you? Home Depot don't have shit on Walton. Oh, well, that's an interesting way of phrasing it, Tommy.
Oh, man.
Don't have shit on Walton.
Some UAP observations could be attributable to developments and classified programs by U.S. entities. We were unable to confirm, however, that these systems accounted for any of the UAP reports we collected. Like you'd admit that.
Yeah, right. I know. We were unable to confirm. So that means you suspected, you asked, you inquired, you thought that was the case. They just wouldn't tell you yes. Yeah.
Some UAP
technologies developed by China, Russia, another nation, or non-government entity. Non-government entity. See, well, does that mean? Are they talking about like Blackwater? Are they talking about like yeah. Or non-earthly entity. Yeah, I mean, here's the giving you, the ice crystals, moisture, thermal fluctuations. But then again, above they did say that most of this stuff was recorded multiple times. Right, weather balloons. So they do think it was, or they do believe it was physical. I mean, they said they have enough data to rule that these things are physical. So it's not atmospheric, or at least not the majority. I mean, every now and then, sure, I'm sure there's some atmospheric things that get misinterpreted every now and then. Yeah, but out of the 144, well, they said 80 of them were recorded by multiple. So at least 80 of them were something physical. So, and then other. Here's that other bin.
Yeah, the other bin.
The other bin. Although most of the UAP described in our data set probably remain unidentified due to limited data or challenges to collection, processing, analysis, we may require additional scientific knowledge to successfully collect on, analyze, and characterize some of them. We would group such objects in this categories pending scientific advances that allowed us to better understand them. The UAPTF intends to focus additional analysis on the smaller number of cases where a UAP appeared to display unusual flight characteristics or signature management. Yeah. And then it talks about how they threaten the flight safety, possible national security. I kind of mentioned this before. Now it goes on to here's how it could. Here's the ongoing concerns of airspace. I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, no kidding. Depending on the location, volume, and behavior of hazards during incursions on ranges, pilots may cease their tests and/or training and land their aircraft, which has deterrent effect on reporting. See. Because of safety hazards, the pilots have to land, and then then they can't report it as well. Or maybe they shouldn't land. I mean, David Fravor did land. He went right at it and tried to start circling around it. But it's like this is the whole page talking about. It's just it's not a lot of meat and potatoes in here. We currently lack data. I mean, it's like every other paragraph is we lack data. We lack the recording capabilities. We lack, the evidence. We lack this. We lack that. We're continuing to monitor and continue looking into it. We got to research further, investigate more, dig deeper. It's
exactly.
yeah.
Interestingly enough, speaking of airspace issues, did you know that there have been cases, sightings, where apparently civilian jetliners have had near close call instances where, they almost collided with one of these craft.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a few close calls. Of course, that stuff is they attempt to cover that up. And never a straight answer, huh? That Navy pilot had the biggest pair to go after an unknown ship without weapons.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And the way it reacted is even more interesting. It started mimicking him, but he was circling around it, going down in a circle pattern, like circling around, getting closer to it, and it started circling up towards him in a circle pattern, getting closer to him. So it was very interesting how it mimicked what he was doing. And talk about potential national security challenges. Well, we currently lack data. We continue to monitor. That's basically what that paragraph says. Explaining UAP will require an analytic collection and resource investment. I mean, they've said it how many times now? Standardize the reporting, consolidate the data, and deepen the analysis. Consolidate, deepen, dig deeper, consolidate more, analyze further. In line with the provisions of Senate Report 116-233, accompanying the IAA for FY 2021, the UAPTF long-term goal is to widen the scope, dig deeper, consolidate more. Widen the scope of its work to include additional UAP events documented by a broader swath of USG personnel and technical systems in its analysis. As the data set increases, the UAPTF's ability to employ data analytics to detect trends will also improve. The initial focus will be to employ. Okay, so here we go. Now let's talk about their plan. So what's the plan? What's the plan, man? How do you expect to fix it? Well, here they go. Here's what they're going to tell you. They want to employ artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms to cluster and recognize similarities and patterns in feature of the data points. That's a good idea. They don't have this already. I guess not, huh?
So
the database.
So we're gonna send in our Cylons versus the aliens.
Yeah, right. We've got our own AI to go after them. Yeah. Give them autonomy. Well, yeah, Soul Assassin. I don't know. I wonder if our Tic Tacs are responsible for some of our planes, both civilian and military disappearances. Possibly. A lot of them happen over the ocean. A lot of sightings over the ocean.
Yeah, I still wonder if USOs aren't tied into that. I really do.
Oh yeah,
because you have to wonder about that connection, and also I used to believe the stuff about the Bermuda Triangle, and I wonder if there is an anomaly in that general area.
I mean, there's a magnetic anomaly for sure. It's detectable. Well, look, also, we're so egotistical as humans. We think we have everything figured out. Oh, let's explore the galaxy. We haven't even explored more than 5% of our own freaking ocean. 5% of the planet's ocean. That's it.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, let's explore the galaxy. Let's go to Mars. Go to Mars. We can't even go to our own ocean. We can't even jump in our own swimming pool and take a look. Come on, 5% of our own planet, and we want to go explore elsewhere. Maybe we should figure out what's here first.
Well, yeah, it's like, gee, you might want to check all those friggin' bases underwater.
Yeah, right.
Since these things are landing in them.
Yeah, these things are coming in and out under the water. We've only explored 5% of it. Maybe we should start there. Yeah, I mean, it's just so silly. talk about exploring other planets. We haven't been back to the moon. Well, again, just given face value, not getting into theories, for decades, since the 70s, and we can't even explore more than 5% of our own ocean. Yeah, it's just anyway, dig deeper, consolidate further, broader swath, widen the scope. That's all we need to do. As a database.
Bear brings up an interesting topic, man. Bear, I actually
healthy experiment.
Yeah, that's a hell of an interesting topic, dude.
Yeah, yep. Crazy stories coming out of that too.
Mm-hmm.
What they did with that. Well, did we really go to the moon? Yeah, I know, Tommy. I know. We did a whole show. We did a whole show about talking about the moon, all the anomalies there, and what happened there. If we really went, if what we saw was really the moon, we might have really went, but is what we saw what they saw? Or is that the grand work of a masterful director?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of wonder with all this final, there's a lot that just does not make sense in this report, because they didn't state anything.
Yeah, I know. It's really thin. It's really thin. Soul Assassin says, yeah, apparently we have another ocean developed around Antarctica. Well, there's a lot of weird stuff about Antarctica too. We did a show for that. I don't know. Antarctica is a really interesting place too. There's again, there's rumors that the oceans kind of recollect themselves and go through the planet through cavern systems.
Well, wait.
Go from one pole to the other too.
Soul Assassin. Wait a second. Don't we have
moon landing and Stanley Kubrick's best film? We put all that symbology in The Shining. Sorry, Drew, go ahead.
I was just making a silly comment, and this is for all the Stargate fans out there. Don't we have the other what was it? Ancient weapons platform is in Antarctica. You saw the Stargate.
Stargate, the movie,
the SG-1.
No, I haven't watched. I've watched the
I've
watched the original. No, well, that's not the original TV series, right?
Oh, it is, dude. SG-1.
Okay, then I have watched. Yeah, I've only watched the original series.
Yeah,
I didn't watch all the follow-ups. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Did you watch all the seasons though?
No. I watched, I think, the first two. I started watching them kind of recently. I didn't watch it when it was on. I liked the movie, but I just didn't get into the show. And over the last year during quarantine, I started watching them. And I got through the first two seasons. Yeah, I liked it. It was a good show.
Best two Stargate series ever was SG-1 and then Atlantis. Atlantis was really good. That was Jason Momoa before he was a douche.
Oh, cool. Okay, he was. Yeah, see that, like Atlantis. How do you know it didn't exist, or it doesn't still exist somehow? If 5% of the oceans have been explored, top of the other 95%, there couldn't be some kind of civilization under there somewhere. I work for the I work for the government. Well, a certain DoD branch, they talk in circles. It's in their MO. Yeah. They talk in circles. Man, I wish you were able to talk. When's your 50 years up? Love to hear your stories.
Kidding. Yeah.
I'm sure you've got some tales to tell. Stories to be told. Stories worth telling, right? Or stories worth, was it Bear's lyric in the song I was talking about earlier? It says like stories worth telling, or stories worth being told. It's a good lyric. Hollow Earth theory. Yeah, Hollow Earth theory. Yeah. Since it sounds like I didn't miss much on the report by coming in late. No, not really.
No.
It's like they're repeating paragraphs, and just kind of again say more of this, more of that.
Pretty much, Darius.
Yeah, no, Keck, I haven't. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it all.
Yeah.
I was watching. Yeah, let's see. That was on what, late 90s?
Stargate SG-1 was I want to say it started around early to mid 90s and kept going through about 2010, and that was about it, because you had Stargate SG-1, then there was a spin-off of that, Stargate Atlantis, you had Stargate Universe, and then Stargate Universe was the last show of Stargate that was on. And then there's rumors now that there is going to be another Stargate series, possibly in the works. That's courtesy of news given to me from Orville Nation, who also has talked to Joe Malozzi.
Yeah,
was
he's
involved
got
in
him on
Stargate.
his. Yeah,
So.
yeah.
You
Right.
know, it's a possibility, folks. If you are a Stargate fan, that the next couple of years may be really good for you. And if the same guys are involved that were involved with the earlier shows, then it won't be all Wokeville, which is good.
Yeah, the 90s I was watching. I was like in a obsessed Highlander phase.
Yeah, well,
I was watching Highlander all the time. Highlander and Seinfeld. That was like those were my two favorite shows of the 90s.
Yeah, Highlander series. I still want to put together a review show for that and go back and review Highlander the series, because I really enjoyed the series.
Ooh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
You know, rip to Stan Kirsch, by the way. Loved Richie Ryan in that show.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe he passed away. Yeah, Richie. Yeah, Richie was. Yeah, Stanley Kirsch. R.I.P. Great cast. I mean, they just did such a great. And you get a lot of Highlander alumni popping up in a lot of shows too. You see them all over, all the time.
Yeah. And you know, we won't get in a whole discussion about that, because probably me and Final could talk about Highlander forever, because especially Mythos.
Oh man, yeah. Well, that's every time. Even the name. Every time I see Darius in the chat, I think of Highlander.
Yeah.
Darius. Yeah. See, like
Darius.
I don't know if that's where you got your screen name from, but yeah, Darius was Darius, Mythos. You know, they're great characters. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I relate a lot to Highlander. So every time I see your name, Darius was one of Duncan's friends in the show. Hey, Adrian Paul is great.
Hey, so, Mexican Iron Man dropping a super chat.
Hello there, $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Yeah, I am monetized, so I can't get super chats. Thank you so much, Mexican Iron Man. Recently found your channel. Enjoyed catching up on previous videos. Keep up the good work. P.S. I'm livid. I let myself actually wait for this nothing burger. Yeah, that's what we called it before we went on there. It's like, this is a Hillary Clinton nothing burger. Thanks for the show tonight. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on, and thank you for the $9.99 super chat, Mexican Iron Man. I really appreciate that. Glad you found my channel and you're enjoying it too.
Thanks for supporting Final, man. Final is good people, and you know, you guys that turned out to watch tonight, man. You know, just mad props to everybody. Thank you so much for supporting him. He's a great friend and a great creator.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that, and I do very much appreciate that $9.99 super chat. Thank you. See, look, this is. I think we got to do a Highlander. We do need to do a Highlander, because there's a lot of Highlander love out there. My out of all the videos I have, my most popular one is my Highlander video. I still get so many views on that video, and I actually I tweeted it out and I had a little back and forth with Adrian Paul on Twitter too, because they're remaking it, you know, and I was talking about that and him and I was like, oh, I wish Adrian Paul would get involved, and he wrote back to me on Twitter, and it was kind of cool. We had a little back and forth. I love Adrian Paul; he's freaking awesome, and he does have a seminar which I really want to go to when it's I guess it probably is opening up again now. The seminar. Yeah. He does it around the country. But since I believe he does live out here in California, I don't think he actually lives too far away. So I do want to go to one of those. I plan to absolutely go to one of those. I did some sword training back in high school. I was obsessed with Highlander, so I was like, yeah, I gotta learn how to sword fight. You never know.
Yeah.
But I'd love to do his.
Never know if I'm gonna have to take somebody's head. Damn it!
Yeah, never know. I could be an immortal, just not know it.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah. All right. There's the name of the song. Okay, that's the bear. That's the song. History will not be erased.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do a video, Bear. Make a video on it.
All right. Well, let's get back to topic. Let's finish this out.
Okay. We'll do our own Highlander show because there's a lot of Highlander love here. So, and I'd love to talk about more. So we will do a Highlander. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Let's get this thing right. There's really not that much more. I mean, it's okay. So they're talking about how they're gonna. We currently lack data. Here we go again. Part of foreign collection program or indicative of a major technological advancement by a potential adversary. We continue to monitor for evidence of such programs, given the counterintelligence challenge they would pose, particularly as some UAP have been detected near military facilities or by aircraft carrying USG's most advanced sensor systems. And then they're talking about using the AI here as the database accumulates information from known aerial objects such as weather balloons, high altitude or super pressure balloons, and wildlife. Machine learning can add efficiency by pre-assessing UAP reports to see if those records match similar events already in the database. So they're basically going to use AI to compile and analyze and then compare it to other data that's already been in the database to see if they can come up with are there patterns at these things. They're looking for patterns. Basically, they want to use AI to find patterns. So that's that's basically what they want to do here. Gosh, I keep getting distracted by this chat here. Adrian Paul on the infamous. Oh yeah, Adrian Paul's birthday stream was fun to watch. Where the heck was that? Who had that? Wow, Arizona audit is done. Interesting. Oh, Bear, that's interesting. Okay. Interesting.
That's a juicy all in itself.
Have to check on it. Yeah, absolutely. Although USAF data collection has been limited historically to USAF, began the 6-month pilot program in November 2020 to collect in the most likely areas to encounter UAP, and it's evaluating on how to normalize future collections, reporting, and analysis across the entire Air Force. The FAA captures data related to UAP during the normal course of managing airspace. So, that's talking about more commercial traffic. Yeah, well, I guess all traffic, but definitely commercial traffic.
Well, again, there's been situations where, and these are sightings and or encounters that people have had where this happened, folks. So like pilots of airliners have had mid-air collisions with some of this phenomena. So it's pretty crazy. And, Mexican Iron Man, great to see you, buddy. Much love, brother. Love you, amigo.
In addition, the FAA continuously monitors its systems for anomalies, generating additional information that may be of use to the UAPTF. The FAA is able to isolate data of interest to the UAPTF and make it available. The FAA is a robust and effective outreach program and can help expand collection. The UAPTF is looking for novel ways to increase collection of UAP cluster areas when U.S. forces are not present as a way to baseline standard UAP activity. Why don't they join up with the many UFO organizations out there? Ones that actually have technology and have recording capabilities and monitor this stuff. Why don't they hook up with? That would be a way to do it where the U.S. military forces aren't present.
Gee, why doesn't the UAPTF put a friggin' base at Skinwalker Ranch?
My God. Well, yeah, I mean, right. There's a ton of stuff there. That's a pretty good place to look. I should just monitor that 24/7. I know, right? I mean, there's MUFON. I mean, why don't they team up with MUFON? There's plenty of ways to increase their their data collection. Also plans to update its current interagency UAP collection strategy in order to bring to bear relevant collection platforms and methods from the DoD and the IC. It's going to be hard though. I don't know, any interagency thing. You have egos, you have different people with different motives. I mean, I don't know. I think that's why this report was so hard to really get done in the first place, because all these agencies having to collaborate with each other. Sometimes they don't always like each other.
Yeah,
either.
Exactly. There's some that just refuse to cooperate.
Yeah. Oh, just a normie. Have a good night, man. Thank you so much for coming and dropping all that information too.
Yeah, hail, just a normie. Scott,
yeah, it was
have a good
great
night.
to have you in the chat. Great to have you in the chat, and hope to see you again.
Well,
but thank you very much.
Darius Munchausen said they just need to use all our phones to collect data on UAP behavior, all location data, mic sound, and camera feed everywhere all the time. That's a good point. Because they're listening in anyway. Because listen, folks, if you think that 5G technology is going to be secure and safe for users, oh boy, you are so deluded. Because it is 100% going to be more surveillance on the user. You are going to be more under the microscope. And also, there are arguments both for and against, if that technology is safe, to have around the human brain.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that too, yeah.
So just saying.
Yep.
Oh man, Mexican Iron Man says, at Drew, I'm all in and will bring the aforementioned taco truck to the Skinwalker Ranch. These interdimensional aliens will be fighting to get through the portal for the carne asada secret recipe. Yes, absolutely. Mexican Iron Man will make them the best homemade carne asada tacos that they've ever had, and the aliens will come in peace just to get the recipe.
You're going to have to get them addicted. That'll be their weakness.
Yeah.
Good night, Tommy. I guess Tommy's leaving too. So good night, Tommy. Thank you very much for
hail,
hanging out, Tommy. You brought a lot of humor to the chat.
Yeah, Tommy was great.
All the tree talk. Good night. Thanks, Tommy. Mexican Iron Man. I'm all in, and we'll bring the aforementioned taco truck. Yeah, that's great. The secret recipe. You get them addicted, and that'll be their weakness.
Oh man, RR says interdimensional taco wars. Yes.
I remember talking about a phone company about a bill. They said there was a function that keeps the phone on even when you turn it off.
Yeah, they can do that. Remember, the more advanced our phones get, folks, and if you think about it, I mean, you take, for example, like something like this, and this is just a 4G smartphone, but we get to the 5G level. Well, what all's in there? Okay, what all's in this thing? And you have to start asking yourself, because there's been a lot of things that comes out about health risks, the whole 9 yards. And why is it that so many of these companies and obviously they want to make money, but they're really pushing for 5G, and so are some of the other, governmental oversight in a lot of different countries pushing for this. A lot of government agencies in our country and others.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder, why do they want 5G around so much?
Also, they used to make it where you could take the battery out of the phones. You could remove the SIM card. Now it's hard to remove the SIM card. You can't even take the battery out of an iPhone without taking it apart. It's harder to turn them off or to stop the power from going to it. So yeah, I mean, you do wonder, like, is it really off?
Yeah.
When you turn it off, to find my iPhone, if it's off, is that still going to be found though? Well, if it is, then there's still a power signature, and they make it hard to find. Banjo Stories. Welcome, Banjo Stories. Good show. I think about the white glow around those Tic Tacs and the UFOs on Mars too. Might be from their space-time warp technology. Yeah, no, I think that is. I think it has something to do with some kind of gravitational. They're their own. They're kind of building their own gravitational field around themselves, because you do see a white glow around many sightings. Many sightings have that around their, the Tic Tac objects. Even I've seen them even around the triangle shape. So I think there is some kind of space-time warping going around there. I do think you're onto something there. I think that is what they are. What they're doing, or what it's showing.
Yeah. Ooh, wow, some interesting comments when we raised the 5G topic. It's like, why do all the heads of these tech companies, they won't let their children use new technology? True. Yes, it's true.
Or they limit them. They limit the time they can use it.
Yeah, Banjo Stories repeats his other comment from before. And Mexican Iron Man said, the corp weirdos want 5G super uber bad, but we can't even get modest in cash for infrastructure repair. Yeah. I mean, it's true. They look what just happened, Mexican Iron Man, with that collapse at that interstate near DC, that bridge just coming down. And it was shoddy engineering in the first place that caused it.
Yeah. Let's see here. I think we have like a page left, and that's pretty much it with this report. UAP has indicated that additional funding for research and development could further the future study of the topics laid out in this report. Such investments should be guided by a UAP collection strategy, UAP R&D, research and development technical roadmap, and a UAP program plan that your tax dollars will help fund.
Yes, exactly.
More money for
more money for the government.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's that. I think that's it.
Yeah, because you said the last two pages are just
it's just it's the appendix.
Yeah,
definition of key terms,
garbage.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. So what it is, again, you guys saw it. Big nothing burger on that report, and essentially they're saying we're looking into it.
Yeah, we're looking at. We got to dig deeper. We got to broaden our search, widen the stance, increase the analysis, work together, try harder. It's basically the gist of the whole report. I mean, that is, you guys went. That's it. We went through the whole report. That was the big 180 days to come up with that.
I will say though, just from a citizen perspective, I did take away from this report. I did take away a concern from this report though, because just the sheer amount of things, basically what was it, 143 out of 144 that they couldn't identify. That does worry me as a citizen, because again, just the national security implication and everything else. That's what I think would worry me.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, at least they are admitting, at the very least, they are admitting that, like you said, all but one they could not explain. So, I mean, they are admitting that they are researching this stuff and they can't explain it. I mean, that is being admitted to us. They're not trying to cover that up anymore. So it's the smallest little step forward, the littlest win you could possibly have. But
yeah, but again,
Hex Allen, what's up, Hex Allen? Welcome.
But again, it's a concern because it's like, we don't know what these things are, and we're kind of completely at the mercy of them right now. It's like,
it's definitely not comforting.
No,
they're definitely admitting that they don't really know, but at least they are saying they don't know instead of trying to cover it up. It's one giant leap for man. I mean, it's like one little hop for one little toe forward for man. And
well, YetiCast, listen, there's a whole theory, and we may as well discuss it for a second here, Final. What do you
Huh?
think about that theory that we already have an entire fleet? We have the secret space program, and that there's a
Well,
full-on
I'm
moon
actually going
base.
to get into this, I think, next week, as because I want to kind of get into a little more of why did Trump put this in there in the first place? Because I think there's we could broaden this into more like conspiratorial talk, but I want to hold off till next week because I think I'm going to have first Flip is going to come on again, but I think I'm going to try to get Peter Hanna back, and he really goes down the rabbit hole into this whole thing.
Nice.
He's got a whole belief structure that goes really deep into this. So I mean, it gets really deep in the rabbit hole. But
But
yeah, I want to talk about that, but I want to hold off till next week. So if you want to do that, we could continue this next week
yeah,
when he
yeah, for
comes on
sure.
because he's got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. But there is
yeah. I think there is a whole belief about that.
yeah.
I think there's some valid points. Yeah, because I absolutely don't believe this is all they know at all. For sure not. I think it goes way deeper than this. But we'll go down that rabbit hole because this show I just kind of wanted more or less go over the report itself
Yeah.
and kind of stick to the just like
The meat and
leaving all
potatoes
the
of the
theories
report.
aside.
Right.
Yeah, just to face value. What is it saying? But next week we'll go down the rabbit hole and we'll get weird and talk about some of the crazy stuff that may be going on behind the scenes of this report, and why Trump even tried to put it in there in the first place, because it's a very odd thing to put in there.
Yeah.
What could the motives be? So, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week. Yeah, because that is a good conversation.
I think honestly, I think President Trump wanted to be transparent with the American people. I really do think so.
Oh, I think he did too. But what does he have? Is there an agenda? Does he know more? Is he trying to get it? Is there an agenda there besides just wanting to be transparent? I just think we should know. Is it that, or is it like there is more there? There's more to it. I think there's more to it than just him wanting. I think he wants it to be transparent, but I think there's more to it than that too. I think he knows more. Breakaway civilization. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, down the rabbit hole. Yeah. Yep. Nothing like a deep dive down the rabbit hole. I think one of the stickers I added is like a rabbit hole RR because you've got the sticker. I think you could. I think I put like a swirly rabbit hole or something as one of the stickers in the
that's pretty awesome.
in the membership. Yeah. Oh, Bear, I'm about to close out the show. Unless you want to sing it live. You want to come on and sing it live before I close out? Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the rabbit hole.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one. Trump has a greater knowledge of the hidden space program than crap. Where is it? Here we go. Trump has a greater knowledge of the hidden space program than most know.
Yeah, I
think so. Yeah, I think
maybe. I wouldn't doubt it, guys. And see, I love to discuss that, man. Like, how much do they actually know?
Yeah, well, I know. I know. Oh, sure. Gonna come on and sing it live. Okay, all right. There. We'll close out with the song.
Yeah, I've always wondered just what exactly you are privy to as a sitting president.
Well, yeah, I know. I maybe depends too on. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because you never know, if they're telling you the truth or not. But there's been other presidents have said, yeah, I tried to find out, but I couldn't. Yeah. I didn't. Was told.
I know, and that's alarming in itself.
Yeah,
that's alarming in itself that there's somebody that outranks that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Is there someone that outranks that? I know.
Yeah. Soul Assassin said there's 15 levels above the president's level of clearance. Wow. Holy shit, dude.
15 levels above the clearance? Yeah. See, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. All right, Bear, there's your link. All right, so we're going to have Bear come on and sing us out with the song. 15 levels.
Wow.
above the president's level of clearance. Yeah, wow.
Holy cow. Well,
That is pretty crazy.
I guess I'll take this opportunity really quickly while we're waiting for Bear. I just want to say thanks for Hex Salad. Thank you so much for the sub to my channel. And of course, I am Drew, aka Supreme Heretic. I write for Bounding Into Comics. I'm also like to do a lot of content. I like to talk about Battlestar Galactica on Thursdays with the Pegasus Actual Podcast. If you are a Battlestar fan, you don't want to miss that show. And of course, every so often, albeit on a Sunday or Saturday, I'll do a High Heresy episode, which we talk about politics and current events. And of course, I always try to keep an eye on politics and current events. I definitely am more of a conservative channel, if that is your flavor. If you enjoy talking on the political side, I also do music video reactions. I try to do a little bit of everything, try to keep the channel fun. So check it out, enjoy it, and hopefully, if you're not subbed, I will see you there subbed soon. And I'll definitely see you this week. Join us on Tuesday for Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. Yep, Rogue Squadron 2. Yeah, thank you, Drew, for coming on again and talking about this disclosure. It's been a lot of fun, great conversation we had tonight, and we'll continue it next week by getting into some of the more deeper conspiratorial sides of it. But yeah, it's been great just kind of going through it, and it's fun to talk about. Oh, go.
We got Yeti Cast and Darius sharing some encounters in the chat. Nice.
Where's that at? Here we go. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. I was a kid on vacation driving through Texas. I saw a weird deep red zigzag lightning bolt in the sky. I forgot about it until recently. But I'm now suspecting it was not actual lightning. Interesting. Red zigzag. Yeah.
And Yeti Cast had one as well.
What's up, Bear?
Hey, how's my mic sound?
Good.
Okay.
I realized last night my laptop mic or one of my other mics connected to my camera was picking up, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, it sounds good. Sounds good right now.
I had to go in the settings and change it because for some reason it got changed. Yeah, the yard's weird, Yeah,
Yeti Cast said he had an encounter where one was made one of those weird 90-degree turns without losing speed.
Really?
Looked like a shooting star.
I
found it.
I've been seeing some really weird aerial phenomenon around here.
Oh, really? Up by you?
Yeah, I saw something really freaking big. It was reflecting of the moonlight.
Really?
Ooh,
you guys are having very out of the norm weather too. You're super hot right now, aren't you?
Yeah, it was 103 today.
Yeah, I had a couple other people telling me how unusually hot it is up there.
Yep.
That's very strange.
Normally, this kind of weather we have in August, the tail end of July into August.
Yeah. Tail end of July. So I mean, you're like a month or so early for that. Yeah, that's 103. Yeah, that's very hot. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he cast it looked like a shooting star, but then made a 90-degree turn without losing speed. Damn.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can hear.
I just opened my studio.
Well, one of the things that we need to talk about sometime, guys, is the whole concept of weather warfare. We were talking about DARPA. That is one of the things that has been notoriously kicked around that DARPA might be involved in is weather warfare and manipulation of our weather.
Yeah. I mean, that was like they said that could have been happening as far back as Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. So just be aware of that, folks. We will check that out. We will have that discussion at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, YetiCast, don't think no one ever believe you. Some of the stories we've heard on this channel Yeah, no.
We're very
You could have the
open-minded.
craziest story. Yeah, you could have the craziest story, and I guarantee we'll take it seriously.
Mhm.
You know, unless unless you're just making it up. But I would assume you're not. So if you want to come on and share your tale sometime, let me know. Feel free to come on. But yeah, I mean, everyone in here. Yeah, I mean, Game Vet.
Yeah.
A lot of us, we will take it seriously, and
many
yeah,
many of us have had personal experience. I know Final has documented video of his.
Yeah, a couple of different ones. Yeah,
You know, I know Flip has had one. I know I've had a sighting.
You've had your own.
I've also had
your ghost story
experience. Yeah. So I believe in these phenomena, folks. You know, the unexplained is for real.
Yep.
It's not just some made up thing, and it is very.
That's what we do on this channel. We get into the weird and the crazy and the unexplained. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unfamiliar. That's what that's why I renamed the channel the Unfamiliar.
That's right.
Yeah. So I saw it very clear. Yeah. See, like middle of the day. Yeah. If you want to come on, let me know. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to have you. Cork. I'm more than happy to have you on and share your story if you want. We'll take it seriously. I would now. I'm really intrigued by it. Yeah. I mean, you should hear some of the stories that we've had on here. It gets out there, and I never discount it as, I think there's always something to it. So, all right, with that, Diamond Plate, that's Bear at the bottom. He's testing his mic out. He's going to sing us out. He's got a song that I happened to hear before I went to bed last night. It's
all right.
Oh, Scott, you came in right at the end.
What's up, Scott?
Thank you, Scott. I'm new. Hello to you too. Actually,
hello, Scott.
Just about to kind of end the show out here. But if you definitely go back and listen to you can watch from the beginning. We just went through the UFO report, talked about the Congress UFO report tonight and went into the details. We went through all 9 pages, which is really just 5 pages. And it's a lot of lackluster. I mean, it is an admittance that they are, actively looking into this stuff. It's the first time they've admitted it. They're not trying to cover it up. So there is something to it. But, all in all, it's a lot of we've got to dig deeper, research harder, try better. It's a first step, I guess. As Marco Rubio said, it's a first step, but they've got a lot of work to do.
Wow, Hex Allen says that.
Hex.
Experience and video of one event.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna have you on too. Yeah, we've talked about that too. I think we've talked about that, haven't we? Yeah, I want to have you on too and talk about.
Here's the new friends, new connections, and old ones reconnecting, and all the in between and all the good stuff. Salute.
Yeah, a lot of new faces in the chat. So thank you guys for popping in. We do our show every Sunday. I mean, unless something comes up, but for the most part, every Sunday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time or thereabouts. So if you guys haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to Drew and Bear. And also follow me on Twitter, Final Death Star, and then the number 1 after it. Final Death Star 1.
Number one. Number one.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number 1.
All right, I'll have to share my entire screen.
Okay, yeah, here I'm gonna stop this share screen. And okay, this is the song that I heard last night, and I just found it.
Yeah.
Really great patriotic song. I love the lyrics of it, and the song. You picked a great song too. Like the guitar, it's just really nice. Is it like a banjo in the back, or is it like ukulele? It sounds like a banjo.
I believe there might be some mandolin.
Oh, mandolin. Okay, mandolin. Yeah. Okay, yeah, great song. So, all right, thanks guys for Bear's gonna play us out. Thank you for watching, and be excellent to each other. Party on, travel safely, my friends.
Yeah,
Bear, play us out.
I have this little trick because below a vocal you can add a bunch of little channels, and what that'll do is it'll give it a chorus effect almost. Pretty cool. It helps me out too. All right. Hey, get that check. Freedom is not a relic to be stored in a museum, nor a root cellar. History will not be erased. I say, hey, get in the way. No way, no way. Hey, hey. Gonna tell a story. It's not the year zero. We need a hero. Time to gather all the heroes. Make a story worthy of a song. Sung over a hill. The bygone days are not bygone. Bygone. There's a story or a tale to tell. Tell it I will. It rings true till I'm blue in the face. With loving grace. Get back, get back. Freedom is not a relic to be stored in a museum, nor a root cellar. History will not be erased. I say, get in the way. No way, no way. Hey, hey. Gonna tell a story. It's not year zero. We need a hero. Time to gather all the heroes. Make a story worthy of a song sung over a nail. The bygone days are not bygone. There's a story or tale to tell. Tell it I will. It rings true till I'm blue in the face with loving grace.
Wow,
There you go.
that's a great song. Great song, Bear. Great job. Love the words, love the lyrics.
Indeed.
And it's great.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you guys, everyone, for joining us. Stay, as R says, stay excellent to each other. Party on. And if I can turn my, see if this works here. There we go. That's okay. It's a little frozen, but we'll see you next week. Be excellent to each other. Party on, and travel safely, my friends.
Indeed.